Welcome to Charts Today. My name's David Linton, and today's edition for Thursday, the 18th of May, comes to you from London. And quite big moves in the markets yesterday on US political risk, really. And so we start by looking at the dollar index. Dollar fell more heavily yesterday, so we're seeing here 1, 2, 3, 4 big down days in a row, hitting multi-month lows. That's really taking us back to the fall or the autumn of last year. So we really are coming back. Interestingly, this time last year we were actually just below the cloud on the weekly chart, so we did actually do that before then recovering, and we did much the same on the daily chart. In fact, where we had this period of around this time we'd sort of bottomed out, but um, this has yet to finish its run in terms of this year. But it's interesting that we did find a floor that we rose from. So the key thing is, will we put in a higher low? And we're seeing on the medium term and the short term we are bearish. This column here, this thrust column, is going to give us a new downside target, another 5% downside potentially, but that's not yet activated, so it's too early to say whether that's going to happen. For that, we need to see a lower low. If I look at the euro, we see here on the euro that we're rising on that weak dollar. 111. We're not through yet on the weekly cloud here either, so more to do there. And looking at the Japanese yen, we're seeing dollar weakness really showing through here as well. Sterling is just nudging this 130 level, not quite through at the moment, 129.80 at the moment, but it is just hitting quite strong resistance here, and that's mostly on dollar weakness, of course. If we look at sterling against the euro, it has been falling, flattening out this morning, so we're seeing the currencies moving in unison. And same is true with the Swiss franc and the Australian dollar, fairly flat as well. Now, US stock markets really sold off quite heavily yesterday. We saw this just struggling to break this 2,400 level. We've come back. Short term, that's taken us through the cloud. We did get a new downside target, which was activated, and we're nearly at that target. So quite a sharp sell-off has put us into short-term bearish mode, but the medium and long-term trends are still intact. Same with the Nasdaq, quite a big down day, and we're seeing here that's just playing through on the charts, but again the medium and long-term charts still very much intact. The Dow had also quite a strong sell-off, and again we're just nudging that support level on the medium-term chart, so really some of these large caps coming under pressure, and the Russell selling off as well, and that is just dipping below on the medium-term chart, but too early to say that we've got a medium-term trend change. Looking at the futures, the S&P future is up very, very slightly, so no heads up yet as to which way the market's going to open. The same with the Nasdaq E-mini. It's up very slightly. Again, no way we'll know until we get closer to the open in the US. FTSE is down just over 0.5% this morning. Short term, all trends are intact here, so still in long-term uptrends. The 250, interestingly, has fallen away quite strongly today, and that is just taking us below the cloud. So short term, we're seeing a sell-off there, and the DAX also just moving below the cloud short too. So a lot of these markets just having a short-term sell-off and putting us in bearish mode on the cloud. The DAX, the Nikkei, not quite through yet. And the Hang Seng also just holding its ground and bullish on all three time frames. Shanghai still not managed to break the downtrend in the short term. And the Sensex is off 0.4%, but it's still a very bullish looking market at the moment. And the Australian market is going lower as well, so we're seeing their short-term bearishness. Taking a look at crude oil, we're just stuck at this $52 level, and we are bullish above the cloud in the short term, but the medium-term chart is still pretty bearish. WTI, much the same picture, and US nat gas did recover a little bit yesterday, but we're still at this 320 level, so it's just not, it's bearish in the short term basically. Copper, bullish above the cloud. Not seeing lots of action. We just look at some of them. Coffee, very volatile, up 2%, but bearish really on the cloud charts. And we're seeing that with cocoa up 1%. Just started to be looking a little bit better in the short term. Looking at sugar, that's bearish. A lot of volatility showing up in these, in some of the softs here. Wheat down 1%, again looking pretty bearish all round. And soybeans also bearish below the cloud. So a lot of soft commodities not looking great, and corn selling off about 1.5%. So the picture is pretty consistently poor for softs. Looking at gold, gold really rocketed yesterday. A really big move. We see that up candle there. Bullish, bullish, bullish. So gold is looking strong again. There is a shortage of upside targets on gold. So just in the short term, we've got these long-term ones, a lot of resistance here, and we're just breaking this short-term resistance at the moment. So real tussle going on there. But with a political risk there, gold just jumped. If we take a look at the 1 minute chart, this is where we might see some sign of trends. We're just looking for clues. But we don't really see any big thrust targets here. Going to a really small box size, this $0.25, 25 cents, we see here that we've got a downside target of 12.48 and an upside target of 12.65. So at the moment, it's just a case of seeing how those trends play out. Quite strong support there. So at the moment, gold is probably going to just try and break that high we set yesterday. Silver, much the same picture. Rose strongly yesterday, not looking as good as gold on the charts generally. US Treasury yields fell quite significantly, again on that political news, and we're down at 2.22% on the 10-year Treasury yield, so that's fallen away quite a bit. Apple still holding its bullish position despite yesterday's sell-off. Google also holding its position. Amazon as well. Facebook did sink lower, so we are seeing quite a sell-off. Facebook came back quite strongly yesterday. It has had a good run of late. We still do have these medium and long-term upside targets. And Microsoft also selling off back below the cloud as well. So quite significant there. I was asked to have a look at UK banks, specifically Lloyds, by one of the viewers, and I'm happy to look at charts. So I start with Barclays, and we see here Barclays is bearish below the cloud in the medium term, just not really putting in any great strong picture here. HSBC again just struggling really in the medium term on that cloud, and Lloyds is the best looking at the moment of those three, just breaking above on the weekly clouds, suggesting a new upside target. Lloyd's in the news with the government's having sold its final stake, and we are just seeing here breaking to new highs in the medium term. We do have upside targets of around 4% on the medium term, 13%, 10 and 13% on this chart. It is still a recovery. We're not quite making it to new highs, and that's the key. We need to break that level at 88 really to be breaking to new highs. But we do have this upside targets here, so it is looking stronger. And on the short-term charts, we are just seeing again some upside potential, but we may hit some exhaustion as we get near those targets in the short term. Taking a look at RBS, not looking so good. Short term still a downtrend, not quite making the same transition as Lloyd's. And Standard Chartered looking a little bit better long term, but the medium term picture is mixed, and the short term is bullish but pulling back. So quite a hard read there. Lloyd's probably looking the best of a bad bunch there. That's it for today. Until tomorrow, happy charting. See you then.